Hey guys, welcome to Case File X. Tonight, we're stepping into the shadows of history to uncover one of the most chilling and mysterious crimes the world has ever known. Imagine walking the foggy streets of Whitechapel in 1888, the air thick with smoke, the scent of refuse and coal, and knowing that somewhere in the darkness lurks a killer who may be watching or waiting. The first body was discovered in the early hours, a woman brutally mutilated, lying in an alley. Her death was only the beginning. London was about to face a terror unlike anything it had seen before. And the identity of the man responsible? Still unknown. What would you do if you were in Mary Ann Nichols' shoes? Could you sense danger before it struck? Could you survive the night in a city gripped by fear? To understand the killer, we first have to understand the world he walked in. Whitechapel was one of London's poorest neighborhoods, a labyrinth of narrow streets, crowded tenements, and dark alleys. The city was booming, but wealth was unevenly distributed. Cholera, tuberculosis, and malnutrition claimed lives every day. Many women turned to prostitution to survive. They weren't criminals. They were victims of circumstance, trapped by poverty and social neglect. But the streets were dangerous. Robbery, assault, and murder were common, and the police struggled to maintain order. In this environment, a predator could blend into the shadows unnoticed. And blend he did. We know almost nothing about Jack the Ripper. Historians speculate he may have been a man with knowledge of anatomy, possibly a butcher, a surgeon, or someone trained in medical procedures. Some believe he harbored deep resentment toward women or society itself. Psychologists today suggest he may have had antisocial personality disorder or a sadistic personality type. But in the 1880s, mental illness was poorly understood. He could operate undetected, leaving behind mutilated bodies while London slept. This uncertainty fueled a chilling question. Was he a man anyone could encounter on the street? Someone familiar, someone you trusted, or an unseen phantom hiding in plain sight? Mary Ann Nichols, 43, struggled to survive in Whitechapel. A mother of 5, she turned to prostitution to make ends meet. On August 31st, 1888, her body was found in Bucks Row. She had been stabbed and mutilated. The horror of her death sent shockwaves through the community. Police were baffled. The brutality suggested knowledge of anatomy. But why her? Why the public display of terror? Mary Ann's story reminds us she was more than a victim. She was a woman with family, dreams, and struggles. Imagine living in her shoes, walking these streets at night, vulnerable to a predator whose identity no one knew. 2 weeks later, Annie Chapman, 47, was discovered in Hanbury Street. Like Mary Ann, she struggled with poverty, alcoholism, and family hardships. Her death was even more gruesome. Her body had been mutilated in a surgical manner, suggesting the killer's confidence and escalation. Public fear reached a peak. Newspapers sensationalized the murders. Crowds gathered at crime scenes. Londoners were terrified to step outside after dark, and the killers seemed to taunt the authorities. Letters arrived, some claiming to be Jack the Ripper. Imagine the city's tension, neighbors watching each other suspiciously, women clutching keys or knives for protection. How would you survive in a city under siege by an unseen predator? On September 30th, 1888, 2 women were killed in the same night, the double event. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. Stride's body was discovered in Dutfield's yard, and Eddowes' mutilated body in Mitre Square. This night demonstrated the killer's audacity. The police faced immense pressure, yet could not catch him. Citizens were enraged, fearful, and desperate for answers. Historians argue this was a turning point. The murders became less about survival and more about terror. The Ripper had transformed the city into a stage for his crimes, instilling fear, fascination, and speculation. Scotland Yard was overwhelmed. Officers struggled with a lack of forensic technology and too many suspects. Witnesses offered conflicting descriptions: a man in a dark coat, a gentleman with a top hat, a shadowy figure glimpsed in an alley. Letters to police and newspapers claimed to be from the killer, further confusing investigators. Hoaxes mixed with real clues. Could any detective distinguish the truth from lies? The public demanded justice, and vigilante patrols became common. Communities armed themselves, trying to survive in a city under psychological siege. Each victim had a story. Mary and Annie, Elizabeth, Catherine, women trying to survive in harsh conditions. Their humanity is often forgotten. Focusing on their lives creates empathy and a sense of real horror. Why did the killer choose them? Was it chance, opportunity, or intent? Modern psychologists debate his motives, offering theories from sadistic pleasure to deep-seated misogyny. The legend of Jack the Ripper began to overshadow the murders themselves. Rumors flourished. Was he a doctor, a member of high society, even a royal? Each theory added layers to the mystery, fueling fascination for generations. Jack the Ripper was never caught. No trial, no confession, no closure. He remains a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that evil can strike unexpectedly. The murders changed London forever. Police procedures improved, public awareness grew, and forensic science slowly evolved. Psychologists study him today as a case study in criminal pathology, and amateur detectives continue to debate his identity. Was he one man or several? Could modern technology have caught him? Will the mystery ever be solved? Jack the Ripper remains an enigma, a criminal legend whose identity may never be known. But his story continues to captivate, horrify, and inspire speculation. Comment below, who do you think he was? And if you were walking the streets of Whitechapel in 1888, would you have survived the night? Do you think justice was truly served for Mary and Annie, Elizabeth, and Catherine?